This is persona aspect. I'm just going to make a different type of video today. I have, I don't know if it's allergies or some mild cold, but my voice is deeper than usual because of this. So it goes along with somehow with my telling voice I use when I tell, you know, about different topics on other channels and stuff, because well I have many different channels, to be honest, not just this one, and usually I use some kind of narrating voice, so it goes along with the narrating narrator thing, you know. So the topic I wanted to talk about in this video, that is supposed to be it's supposed to be, you know, educative. I don't know how to pronounce it well. My English is not perfect since I'm not a native English talking person. It's supposed to be about the topic of androgyny from a two-spirited man's own perspective. What it means to be androgynous, and what is its implications and its future importance for humanity, what it plays for humanity, and how it's connected to the divine in esoteric and mystical views of life and humanity itself. Because, well, since way before I actually started doing cross-dressing related videos and posting videos of me looking androgynous and vlogs and the stuff I normally post on this channel about personas, getting into different personas. I used to actually be into I'm still into these topics more than ever actually, but I used to be into the mystical and esoteric and teachings and knowledge and higher knowledge about the universe and reality. I've always been drawn into these topics. I've been raised with all of these things around me. My father was he was a mystic too, you know, and he was into all of these things too. So I've been naturally drawn to understanding the universe and reality since my very childhood. I've always asked questions about who we are, what we are, who I am, and why I exist, and all of that. And well, it all ties into androgyny too, in a sense, because, well, the thing is, with androgyny actually is the unification of the divine sacred masculine and the divine feminine principles. And in the occult terms, in the mystical terms, the divine feminine, the qualities associated with it is usually spirit, water, earth, the cold, the receiving and passive force, the moon, the night, the yin, negative charge, magnetic, emotions, creativity, rest, intuition and heart. So that's the feminine side, according to the divine feminine qualities. And the divine masculine qualities are matter, fire, air, hot, giving, active force, sun, day, yang, positive energy, electric, logic, thoughts, action, strength, and mind. And both sides are equally important for a human to possess. But we live in a reality where we have been separated. So we are incomplete humans. We're incomplete beings. A man that does not possess the divine feminine qualities is an incomplete human being. The same with a feminine and a woman that doesn't possess any divine masculine traits. So it stands to reason that something would benefit from this separation. Something would benefit from it to create a world that's more separated and divided, where we are opposed to each other, where we have different You know, we have different behaviors associated with our biological gender, and our biological gender is, of course, either feminine, male or masculine, female or masculine. That's obvious to anyone. But then there is like the entire feminine and masculine spectrum in according to the esoteric and mystic definition of what it symbolizes. And a person can be either one of the other, or the one generally associated with their birth gender, of course. But it still does not make them a whole person. You won't become a whole person until you actually merge the other qualities, the other opposite, into yourself, because that will make you more complete and balanced. And when the human is imbalanced, there is no way to progress forward into something new and evolve. So we live in an imbalanced world, basically. Imbalanced reality, where everyone is imbalanced and trying to push their imbalanced nature, or should we put it that way, ideology about how to be, what is the correct way to live, you know. And most of these qualities, principles of femininity and masculinity, are also not, they are not even in their divine state yet. They are in their toxic and lower, how to say it, form, you know. So this is why humanity is so at the state we are now, you know, with everyone fighting, basically constantly fighting about what is the truth, you know, how to live. We have so much, still so much hatred against androgynous people, LGBT, homophobia in the world. I can't believe we still have homophobia. People that actually think it's unnatural and an abomination to be gay, bisexual. It's just beyond my comprehension at the moment, to be honest. And yes, maybe I to put it this way, I think all of this is done on purpose, to be honest. They are creating confusion beyond anything about the androgynous, what it means, to keep people even more separated, instead of balanced and united, and understanding that being androgynous is not destroying one side for the other side, or replacing one side with another. It's basically the merging and the unification of both sides to become a unified and more balanced version of humanity, of man and woman. So basically that's what androgyny stands for, in that sense, in the mystical view. And it's the same with anything else in life, basically. It applies to any kind of situation, whether it's mystical, esoteric or not. But people, if they just become balanced people, we will have a much more beautiful world. People will have so much new experiences and see world in so much new ways, and we will finally be able to probably go beyond everything that's related to these wars and fanatic ideologies that want to push their absolute truth on humanity, that's completely imbalanced and just doesn't follow any kind of self, you know, it only follows a self-serving ideology or agenda for the ones in power. And it's not for the human race evolution or future benefits, and it's not beneficial for the human race evolution and future. It just benefits someone else. So androgyny, true androgyny, the one I'm mentioning now, the the mystical and esoteric form of androgyny is actually the way to ascend the human race into something new and free from all this corrupting imbalance we have on the planet. And it's not about becoming, every man should start seeing themselves as a woman, or every woman should start seeing themselves as a man, because it's not about switching the polarities. It's not about changing something, just switching sides. It's about merging both sides into something new, that creates more equilibrium and balance. So basically, you can still look the same way you are now, but still be androgynous and have applied these principles and become a more balanced version of yourself, in tune with the higher creative force of the universe. Because this ties into the entire principle of creation itself. If you go into the creation, the theories people have, and not just people, but really old mystical teachings, and even research done by some of the world's most secret organizations that published leaked documents on all of their knowledge on reality, existence, God, basically, like the CIA's documents that's been widely accessible to humanity for years now, where they actually leaked and declassified all their knowledge about reality regarding everything from other dimensions to God, to aliens, to the paranormal. They basically, even them have confirmed that we all are basically God experiencing itself, and that God is an energy that existed before the Big Bang, and a divine light that spread through the Big Bang and created myriads of fractions of itself and started experiencing itself through consciousness. And it stands to reason that before creation there could not have been genders. There could not have been any kind of duality in that sense. And it's a result. It's a result of this explosion that occurred in the beginning. And everything is a circle too, in a sense. It doesn't have a true ending or a true beginning. If you apply the Ouroboros principle there, everything is a circle. So we emerged, like we got separated at start, and now we are heading back again in a circle. So the only way to do that is to merge again, and the male and the feminine will have to merge. It will have to become one, anew, and it has to become unified to go back to source, to go back to the absolute, basically. And this is found in this belief is found in a lot of cultures and mythology and ideologies from the past. Like the man and woman was an androgynous creature from the beginning that got separated and split into half, and that there were no feminine or masculine to begin with. They were just an in-between entity, an in-between deity or being. And once creation started, the circle, it got split into two halves. So we are divided and imbalanced. We are imbalanced beings. And the only way for us to go back to where we came from, to the divine, go back to the divine beginning, the absolute, to become more like the absolute beginning of all, the consciousness that manifests this reality, that we are fractions of, experiencing and interpreting itself. We need to become androgynous. We need to become balanced, because androgyny is just balance. It's basically balance. between all polarities, all forces in creation, in that sense. So androgyny is balance. And to become balanced, we need to merge and unify everything that's imbalanced and accept it as one. So we need to become one with everything. So this is why androgyny is so important for the future evolution of mankind and humanity, both in the mystical sense and the philosophical and psychological sense. Otherwise, we will stay imbalanced for all future and repeat the same wars, the same fanatical ideas and ideologies, and be enemies. Men will be enemies to women and women to men, and different views on what masculinity is and femininity, and it will never end until we eradicate our very existence on this planet. We cannot obtain peace and evolve and transcend this state that we are in now without androgyny. It's the only way to proceed forward into a new future, a new world, a new, more beneficial way of living in harmony with the planet and the universe and everything around us. It can only happen through balance. And if we take in consideration all encounters with so-called evolved humanoids people have had through the myriads of years in history, everything from fairies to gods to aliens today and interdimensional beings people have contact with, they are mostly, if not all of them, depicted as androgynous. For example, the angels and all other beings people see today, for example, Nordics and beings from other worlds, they are all androgynous in energy and appearance. Most people who have encounters can't really tell apart if they're talking to a man or a woman. They'd say something they can't describe, but they usually find it beautiful, the energy. So these are androgynous beings. And it stands to reason that androgyny is superior and evolved, and evolution itself. So these were some short thoughts I had about the topic, about how I see androgyny from a mystical, spiritual and philosophical viewpoint, as a man who is in touch with my both aspects and has merged them, becoming a two-spirited being that walks the line, that walks in between the balance, that is the balance basically. So I've been able to draw these conclusions and give my own perspective and thoughts about this topic. Of course, it goes much deeper than this, and it can be very more explored in depth than these points I took up now. But I just wanted to give you some of my perspective on it all, how I see it, from my viewpoint, because I rarely share these kind of deep thoughts on my channel unless I'm in a live stream or something. I tend to talk about things like these on live streams, but other than that, I'm just doing personas and getting into different dress-ups and expressing creatively aspects of my consciousness and reflections and interpretations and mirrors and all of that, and being entertaining, trying to be entertaining all at once, so I wanted to make something more that can educate people, hopefully, and give them a new perspective on androgyny and stop seeing it as a threat to humanity, basically, because I believe forces are that want the world to be divided, separated, and in war with each other, wants us to see the solution as the problem and warp it, distort it basically, and make it into something incomprehensible and scary and that doesn't make any sense. But if you present androgyny in this way, it makes more sense to people, I believe. So that is why I wanted to make this video about androgyny from the perspective of a two-spirited soul, two-spirited consciousness here. And well, yeah, that was all I wanted to say about androgyny on this video. Hopefully you have enjoyed these my own thoughts about this, and well, if you have some kind of opinion, just leave it on the comments below. And thanks for listening. Sorry for sounding like this. It's nasal and but yeah, thanks for listening. This was the persona aspect here from YouTube here. The weird crusters are from Sweden. Goodbye.